Hello to all of my world travelers. Beauty comes in limitless shape and form, but Japan has narrowed it down their beauty standard, and it looks a lot different than Western culture. And today, we're going to share with you exactly what the Japanese beauty standard looks like, how the ladies achieved it, what kind of clothes are most popular, and where this beauty standard came from. So stay tuned, girls, to see if the guys will be drooling all over you. Maybe you're cut out to be Japan's next superstar. And fellas, stay tuned to get an idea of who the sought-after women are. Oh, and in Japan, they actually care about personality too. Sounds crazy, right? We'll look at both the external and internal beauty that Japan prioritizes. Also, keep in mind that beauty standards change over time and can be straight up ignored by future generations. Physical beauty. Let's start off with physical beauty. If you're thinking that tan skin, high cheekbones, perfect white teeth, and a voluptuous figure is the perfect woman, Japan would disagree with you. To understand their beauty standard, you might need to throw some of your preconceived notions out the door. But a good starting point is to understand that Japan leans more towards cute and innocent rather than beautiful and powerful. Instead of tan skin, Japan has an infatuation with pale skin. So for all of my home dwellers, it looks like you might be in luck. And while a lot of Western cultures pay monthly subscriptions to lay in tanning beds and get skin cancer, or go so far as to turn their skin orange in a last-minute attempt to get that sun-kissed look, Japan instead takes extra steps to make themselves as white as possible. It's not weird to have skin whitening cream in your cabinet in Japan. With that being said, it should be pretty obvious that sunscreen is another very common household product. And it's definitely not to try to look Caucasian. It's actually inspired from ancient Japan when they used to paint their faces white. Little fun fact, during the times before electricity, geishas used to paint their faces white to make them more visible and recognizable. But today, while the women of Japan don't usually put on white paint on their face, they still strive to have as pale as a face as possible. It's not all about keeping your skin fair. Their beauty standard is also pretty strict when it comes to blemishes. However, thankfully due to their healthy and balanced diet, their complexion is generally flawless. And to tie this back to pale skin, there's an old saying in Japan that a fair complexion hides 7 flaws. So I already mentioned that a voluptuous figure is not the ideal trait in Japan, but there's more to know about the beauty standard when it comes to the body. For those of you who hate going to the gym and lifting weights, Japan might be perfect for you. The ideal woman is skinny and delicate. If you walk into drugstores, you'll see a whole bunch of different dietary supplements displayed. Basically, the less muscle, the better. So an hourglass figure is great and all, but a simple slim figure takes the title for most attractive. I guess it's time to finally get rewarded for all the work you put into avoid lifting weights. And if you've always been self-conscious about your big nose or your nose bridge, a trip to Japan might just be what you need to spark confidence. I've even heard of women in Japan say that they wish their nose wasn't so small. So wear that honker with pride, cause they're gonna love you for it. There's also a slight obsession with blonde hair and blue eyes, which seems a little random, but if you see one of these ladies at a social event, you know where a lot of the single guys will be. Now, although the ideal look in Japan is very natural, it certainly doesn't come naturally. These girls spend a lot more time than you'd think perfecting this natural look before leaving the house every morning. So fellas, take note of complimenting how good your girlfriend looks when you go out will be highly appreciated by them because of all the effort it took to achieve it. Alright, starting off with the eyes, girls use droopy eyeliner, some mascara, and nice soft eye glitter to get those big round doll eyes that the fellas go crazy for. Double eyelids are also highly valued, and girls will go through some pretty crazy measures to achieve it. Even plastic surgery. But just a heads up, plastic surgery is usually highly discouraged in Japan. They love the natural look, remember? And I know the United States is starting to get into more fake eyelashes, but Japan still loves them at least twice as much. Long and curly eyelashes are a staple in their beauty world. Whether it's from an eyelash curler or cruising down to a cosmologist for a lash lift, expect to see a lot of this look. It's really pretty. Moving down to the lips, a pouty and full look is all the fuss. The quick and easy way to get some are lip injections, but try to stay natural if you can, and unless you're a model doing editorial fashion, then dark and light lipstick will only get in the way of achieving that look. And on the cheeks, it's not common to sculpt high cheekbones with upward sweeping blush. Use bronzer or highlighter. This is definitely another big difference compared to the US and Korea. And in Japan, a simple light dab of blush right on the apples of the cheek is the best way to get that youthful look. Lastly, contour is surprisingly unpopular. The best place to go see all of these features come to life is at a college campus. Japanese girls dress up like it's a fashion show every single day, and of course they do their makeup perfectly. You might be surprised to hear that they find it inappropriate to walk out of the house and into the world with no makeup on. On the flip side, if you've ever been to a college campus in the US, you'd know that the girls confidently walk around campus in sweatpants with no makeup on. It's much different. But hey, to each their own, right? And a pretty good rule of thumb for the fellas dating a Japanese girl is that the more she cares about her appearance, the more she'll expect you to care about yours. So yeah, you'll actually have to put in some effort for looking good for your girlfriend, as you should. However, this rule tends to be more relaxed when it comes to foreigners. But you'll get her to fall deeper in love with you if you put in the right amount of effort. You can thank me later. The beauty standard doesn't end there though. Japan recognizes that beauty isn't skin deep. The way you act is another major factor. The girl in the Western society who acts a bit childish and immature isn't always appreciated in the US, but she certainly is in Japan. But not too silly. While acting a little immature is adored, the beauty standard still prefers soft-spoken and elegant ladies rather than a rambunctious wild woman. To take it one step further, it's also expected for girls to be considerate and have impressive manners. It's these important characteristics that can enhance or diminish someone's external beauty in Japan. Japan isn't a flashy and attention-seeking country, and this includes the way that they dress, of course. As a fairly conservatively dressed place, low-cut blouses and bare legs aren't the norm. Even on the hottest days of the year, girls will still probably be wearing some pantyhose. So, sorry boys, looks like you'll have to just admire her as a whole. And girls, one of the best things about the clothing trend is that all of the clothes are super comfortable. Comfortable and tidy, to be more specific. Admittingly, this is sort of a bland look, however there's a small trend of young girls who wear bright colors, short skirts, and loud, extravagant looks. They're mostly in Tokyo, and they call it kawaii fashion. There's another small trend in Japan for street style, which doesn't have a clear definition because they take inspiration from all over the world and then add in their own splash of creativity. But big and bright colored designs on baggy clothes is the best way to describe it. In Japan's history, wealth was of course an adored status, and people admired symbols of it. For example, the wealthy people didn't need to work under the sun in the farm, unlike the people in the lower class. This naturally led to poor people having tan skin because they had to be outdoors to work, and wealthy people having fair skin because they could stay inside and enjoy their fortune. And that's why fair skin has been sought after look in Japan for all these years. Also, there was a period of time where Japan really favored chubby faces, and not surprisingly, this all ties into the history of Japan's wealth. Simply put, women who were wealthy could eat more food. And to explain why women are preferred to be quiet and respectful, well, that's just because of the gender roles perpetuated through Japan since early times. But hey, a beauty standard does not limit who can be beautiful. Everyone's look is adored by someone, and if you ask me, I think you're beautiful. Thanks for listening in. Please like this video and subscribe to our page for more adventurous content.